Hello and welcome once again to ice hockey from the Olympics on Eurosport. Day 9, Russia against Czechoslovakia, correction, the Czech Republic. And Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. We're taking a look right now at the highlights. The third period live will start in a moment. The Russians came out firing. Karpov came out from behind the net and took his opportunity cleanly. So the Russians draw first blood in this one against the Czech Republic. Let's look at this again.
Karpov very quick. He slams the brakes on. Kastak, number 12, is trying to cover him. He's a forward, not able to get him. Karpov walking right up back out to the front of the goal and putting the puck in the net.
Bryza goes out with the poke check, but that doesn't work, and goal number 1 is to Karpov at 4:42 of the first period. The Russians came out like a team possessed. Bryza was peppered from all angles. Again, we see a player allowed to walk out and pop it in over the red line. This time it's Denisov, and the score is 2-0, and the Russians looking very good indeed.
Dmitry Denisov doing a lot of work on his own, taking a shot, getting the puck back, going to the back of the goal, and as you said, Paul, he comes right out to the front of the net. Nobody there but Petr Bryza. Bryza comes up with the first save, but not the second one.
5:22, the time of that goal. It took a while, but the Czech Republic started to get themselves back into the game. Kuchera doing a lot of work, got the backhander away. The rebound came out for Petra Herbeck, and that brought the Czechs a little closer in this one.
The Czechs coming in on a 3-on-2. The Russians trying to get back. The backhander is saved by Zuyev, but the second shot is there, and the Russians are caught watching the puck. Nobody picking up Herbeck as he puts the puck in the goal.
15:05, the time of the goal, and still more scoring to come. For the moment, the Czechs under pressure. Kastak back on the ice, feeds it up, and Link on the breakaway makes no mistake. A beautiful pass from just over the blue. Look at this.
Kastak missed a game earlier by taking a hard hit in one of the first games of the Olympics. They're glad to have him back in the lineup. A great pass ahead. A Link puts it over Zuyev, and the Czech Republic were even at 2.
2 apiece, and that's the way the period ended. In the second period, more goals for the Russians. Tarasov was cruising along the blue line, and keep your eye on number 24, Nikolishin. He took his time, took the puck out from between the skates, saw the goaltender was down, and picked his opening well.
Again, we see players playing the puck, not the body. The Russians having a good whack at Bryza. He's well and out of his goal. Vakukul trying to play goaltender, number 4 back there for the Czech Republic. He can't come up with the puck, and Nikolishin has the goal.
.12 the time of the Nikolishin goal in the second period. Still more scoring to come for the Russians. Karpov, who picked up the first goal, is about to get the fourth. Time running down on the period. The loose puck, Bryza let it come out, and Karpov says thank you very much.
Petr Bryza, one of the most experienced goaltenders in these Olympic Games, doesn't very often make a mistake like that. Made the save quite easily, couldn't hold on to the rebound. Karpov right on it with a backhander.
4-2 to the score, the Russians leading. Third period action coming up in a moment. Welcome back, we are live. Petr Bryza between the pipes. Zuyev at the other end of the rink. This is third period action. And the score is 4-2, the Russians leading the Czech Republic. And we're expecting a fine 20 minutes of ice hockey here in the Hacken Hall. This is day 9 action. Zuyev getting set to go between the pipes. 16 saves in the first 2 periods. And Zuyev, who was replaced by Abramov earlier on in the competition, is back in goal for the Russians. And the Russians, Bopes, really have had their problems on and off the ice.
They certainly have. Coach Viktor Tikhonov at present has made comments even that he's just totally dispossessed and disgusted with Russian hockey. He feels that the top league in Russia is a development league for the NHL now. He's not far off making comments like that. And it comes down to the individuals. Karpov, who has scored 2 goals in this game, allegedly was one of the players Tikhonov went right to and had comments for after one of their bad performances. And Karpov's answer was, well, when does the next plane leave? The players even just don't seem to have the heart that they used to have.
The 92 team that picked up gold, big shot right on goal. Out of the 21 players, 19 have gone to the NHL, 2 have gone to play in Switzerland, and they're left with a young side that is not really tried and tested. We've said that before, and really the Russians are struggling. Right now they're leading the Czechs 4-2, but they're not playing like the Russian teams of old. In the corner, Horova trying to take his man off the puck, and the Russians now with Tarasenko and Torgeyev right out front. Briza goes down on the far side. Tupal, Vukuko, a bouncing puck. Shendelev moved right in, and Briza from the side of the net. Guzmanov tried to bring it out, couldn't get it in front of the goal, and that shot all the way down the ice.
Tarasenko and Torgeyev going right at the Czechs. Zuyev has to come out at his end of the ice, cover up the puck as Shendelev got back in a hurry. Good action from the Russians. Big hit right at center, just inside the center red line. Play going on. Torgeyev just going wide. Briza wouldn't have had that one. It would have been under his arm had it been on the net.
Karpov took the shot, and that bounced away. Tertishny moved in to keep it in the zone. Horova with 1:35 gone on the period. Horova at the second attempt, and the Russians still keep it in. Bezukladnikov moved in quickly. Briza was there. Horova unable to get it out of the zone, and Briza has to come up big.
Briza has had his share of action, up and down, up and down. Great work by Briza to come up with this puck. The Russians seem to be able to have second and third shots. The Czech Republican defensemen really aren't helping out Petr Briza.
Bouncing puck along the boards, all the way back, big shot. And again, Briza gets hold of that one. Tertishny let it fly from about 58 feet away.
The Russians changing their line. Big shot right off the face-off. Tertishny getting it all, but a clear view by Briza, and he just lets it go right into the catching glove.
Nikolyshin steps into the face-off circle, and that drops all the way back on the D, and the Czechs trying to bring it up and get something going. They know they have to pop a couple. This is all about positioning in the table, that's for sure. Remember, the bottom team in this group will most likely play the Swedes, who are the top team in the next group.
If the Russians can hold on, they'll be ahead of the Czech Republic after this game. They'll both be 3-2 after their first 5 games. The Czechs would like to come back here and have this win to stay ahead of the Russians. It's a seesaw battle right now, but as you said, Paul, we keep mentioning it, but it's important that everybody knows 1 through 4 in the placings in both Group A and B is critical as to who's going to play who in the medal round.
Number 1 in Group A plays number 4 in Group B. Number 2 in Group A plays number 3 in Group B, and they crisscross over. Interference is a call on Vinogradov.
Vinogradov going in on Briza as he came out of the net. He'd gotten rid of the puck. Briza was interfered with. The Russians will be shorthanded for 2 minutes.
The Czechs now with Kapusta. Kapusta drops it back. Time ticking down on the period as the Czechs move it up. They really haven't threatened as that goes in. Bouncing puck, Nicolishin. Serban Kapusta drops it all the way back. And the Czechs now setting it up. Kapusta gets a rough ride from Davidov. All the way along the boards. Staviana goes after it, can't trap it in, and here comes Kudashov. Kudashov on the backhand. Serban couldn't get to him. Staviana now collects. 1:13 on the power play. And which way is the power play going? Janecki drops it off. Kadlec for the Czechs. Kadlec slows it down, taps it right up the middle. Kuchera tries to get a handle on it. Vopat moves in, and now the Czechs bring it in deep. Kudashov goes after his man. Janecki quickly back to the blue line. Kadlec, he's got the big shot. Pops it into the hash marks. Janecki back to Kadlec. Along the blue line. Again back to Janecki. Right in front. Kadlec shot. Rebound shot. And Zuyev with Kuchera knocking on the door, and Janecki moving in quickly. Makes the save.
Dolezal still down. Dolezal, Janecki, Kuchera right there. The shot coming from Kadlec. The Czechs have got this one set up nicely. Berezan had committed himself. The pass comes back to Kadlec. He lets it go. It's all action around the front of the net. Dolezal is really flattened from behind. Zuyev did a good job through traffic to hold on to this puck.
Sorokin holds Dolezal's stick, and then Smirnov moves in and gives him a big hit from behind. Rough shift for Dolezal. From the face-off, the Russians hanging on in this power play. Some good pressure from the Czechs. Kadlec to the far side. Some good pressure now. Shendelev goes in. Kuchera. Evtukin up to the box, and Janecki taps it. Kadlec shot. That took a deflection. The race is on. Kadlec tries to reach for it. Having problems. Going in is Torgeyev. Torgeyev slammed on the brakes, and back come the Czechs. Kapusta on the wing. Kapusta shoots right on the goal. Zuyev went down 1 second on the power play. All the way back in now. Long pass. Top of the circle. Shot again, and that misses the target. And the Russians back at full strength as Kadlec throws it up in a hurry. Kapusta again. And again Zuyev comes out of his net nicely to cut down the angle. Drops on the pads and makes the save. Baritsky tries to fire that in front, and Janecki is there to pick it up. Good little move by Janecki to get away from Bezukladnikov. Bezukladnikov eventually dragged him down. Both teams going for a change out there. As Tertishny takes it for a skate. Tertishny up on the right wing to Karpov. A left wing pass, that's too far for everyone, and Vikukul picks it up on the bounce. 4-2 the scoreline here in the third period. We're live on Eurosport. We missed the first two periods, but we join the action here in the third period. Some excellent play from both teams. Serban, a little tap up on the wing, and that goes all the way down into Russian territory. Zhagorodsky again waits for a change out there. The Russians and the Czechs know that they can go 25-30 seconds. Nicolishin couldn't hang on to that. He gets a little support from Vinogradov. Nicolishin back into play, passes it up, and Vikukul is there to pick it up. A bouncing puck. Surson goes in quickly, can't get a handle on it, and that bounces as far as the blue. Hostak peppers it in. Zhagorodsky picks it up and fires it up on the wing. The Russians now. Nicolishin, a little give and go that doesn't work, and the Czechs move in quickly. Great move there by Zemlichka. His pass took a deflection, and Tarasov picks it up.
Both teams are working very hard right now. They're trying to find skating room. The legs are really going. All 10 guys are really moving. The puck is being moved back and forth, but they're trying to play each other tight, especially in the neutral zone.
Zemlichka hit in the neutral zone. Kudakov right in front of his own goal. Little nifty number 9 gives it off. Davidov back to Kudakov, trying to get through her best. That doesn't work. And the Czechs just throw it up on the open wing. Russia now trying to get back on the attack, and that lands nicely for Staviana, who gets it over, and that comes right back to Staviana. pass up into neutralized territory, goes all the way down the ice. And the Russians again changing on the fly. The Czech door is open, but they can't get the players off the ice. Vopat to the far side. A tip up in the middle. And again, Gusmanov got the pass forward. Berezin is there. Kadlec goes deep. Kadlec, some rough stuff in the corner. A little tip along the ice, and that comes out into neutralized territory. Kurakhov is there for the Russians. Good move right inside the blue line. Nice pass up to the blue line. Now the Russians are looking like the Russians of old. Gusmanov still has the puck. Vopat goes after him. Gusmanov falls, and that trickles into the corner. Oh, we're seeing some fine stuff here from the Russians as they throw the puck around and also put in some good individual playmaking out there.
Both of these teams are really good and actually quite legally, if you want to call it, dirty with the sticks. They really do hack each other. The chops are in there, the hooks are on. Both sides are really finding it rough right now.
Dolezal back to Vakukul. The chip comes in from the side of the net, right out front. 7:59 gone on the period. 4-2 the score. The drop pass by Tarasenko, and Shendelev, the big defenseman, moved up. Offside was the call, but a moment before that, the Czechs had a golden opportunity of picking up number 3.
Camera going to Coach Alinka. It's really interesting when the camera actually hits the players. When they first come off the ice, you see a lot of guys rubbing the forearms, rubbing the backs of their legs. That's where they're taking all the chops.
Horva being shadowed by Karpov. Dolezal along to the far side. Little tip back. Dolezal fanned on that clearance. That comes to the far side of the rink. Bezukladnikov tried to get a handle on it. Kuchera starts it quickly. Kuchera gets by Karpov. Kuchera eventually muscled out of the play, and Janecki picks that up in neutralized territory. Offside the call. The Czechs picking up the puck on the wrong side of the blue line. Another change of personnel for the Russians out there, and Tikhonov really not happy with what he sees out there, even though it is a 4-2 scoreline. He does want the best. He expects nothing but the best.
Olympic News, your daily update from Lillehammer, here on Eurosport. Every day at 5:30 p.m. and 11 p.m, the Eurosport News Desk brings you the best of the day's action. Results, medals, analysis, all the latest from Lillehammer. Olympic News, every evening at 5:30 p.m. and 11 p.m, here on Eurosport.
Nicolishin gets set for that face-off. Nicolishin is dumped. Vakukul gets the touch, taps it right in. Nicolishin puts the arm out for it. Tarasov is muscling in the far corner, and Nicolishin backhands it up along the boards, but Horva came in with a good save to trap it. Davida up to the far side. Tertishny, and a little push out, gets it over the blue line as Vakukul drops it all the way back to Horva. Horva, a rink-wide pass, and the Czechs bring it in quickly. Tarasov, Nicolishin. Nicolishin tries to throw it along the boards. That doesn't work, and it bounces in the circle, and the Russians come up with it. Vinogradov with a change on the fly out there. Vinogradov has got a good move coming in, and Horva stays with him, drags him down, but that comes back to Berezin. Berezin unable to get to it as it was punched into the corner, and the Czechs now start to bring it out. The Czechs with a sense of urgency in their play right now. Long shot, Vakukul right on the target, and Zuyev scoots it to the near side. The final 3 minutes of play coming up. Vinogradov along the blue line. A little tap forward. Going in quickly is Berezin, but he's dragged down by Staviana. Zemlichka. Long pass up. A link with a burst of speed. A link still moving, going in on the backhand side, going up against Smirnov. A link taken out of the play by big number 5, but the Czechs come up with it. Sorokin puts his stick down, the shot by Staviana. That hits somebody, and Kudashov picks it up, and there's an argument to fight. Call it what you will. Alink is being manhandled in the corner, and play has been stopped.
Play went on for a good 20 or 30 seconds. The two players were wrestling on the ice. The linesman was just trying to get them apart as the action was continuing. Finally, the referee had it brought to his attention. Quite a few people in the building screaming. Smirnov going in and taking Alink out of the play. The action continues right down in the Russian zone as very quickly Rebek took the puck. But in the meantime, Smirnov is smothering Alink, and he takes exception to it. The two players wrestle their way right into 2 minutes worth of penalties for roughing.
So both teams, as you said, Volps, with a man in the penalty box, and who's this going to favor?
At present, the way the Czechs have been passing the puck, it should favor them. It'll give them more ice. They should be able to move it around well, but the Russians are right there stride for stride with them. They're not making it easy.
Vopat, a little tip back into the far corner. Evtukin is out there to help keep this one away from the Russian zone. Shendelev took a swipe at it. At the second attempt, here come the Russians. The Russians will take their time as Shendelev just casually pops it into the corner. 2 minutes remaining on the period, 2 minutes remaining on the game. Big pass up forward. Kapusta got it up. Horak couldn't hang on to it. The Russians getting back in numbers. Evtukin goes for his skates. Comes through the circle. Gets away from Kapusta. A backhand pass on the wing. Torgeyev is out there. Torgeyev throws it right back into neutral ice territory, and the Russians doing what they have to do to kill off the final few seconds of this game. Shendelev dumps it all the way down. Vikuko hangs on to that and then eventually pushes it up to Kuchera. If anybody can make something happen, this guy can. He gets away from 14, Karpov. Puck dumped into the corner and then thrown around, and Bezukladnikov just lets it ride into neutral ice territory. Vikuko eventually throws it in. Zuyev taps it into the corner. Time ticking down. The Czechs really don't have time on their side. 1 minute now. Big shot comes in. Zuyev goes down. That goes high. 59 seconds on the game.
Zuyev making the save. That's actually the first good shot that the Czechs have gotten off with this 4-on-4 situation. I'll more or less take back what I said to you earlier about it favoring the Czechs. They need a goal, so they've got to press forward. But with more ice, it's allowed the Russians just to dump the puck in, and when they do have it, spread out and move it from side to side and make the Czechs chase. They need the puck. The Russians can sit back and hold on. They've got a 2-goal lead.
Timeout has been called. 30 seconds is the allotted time. And the Czechs trail by 2. We'll take a look at Gryza, who's sitting comfortably next to Ivan Linka.
I should think he'll stay there, Paul. The faceoff will be deep in Russian territory as Zuyev directed the puck over the plexiglass on the shot. You can see Tikhonov pointing at the two defensemen, telling them to spread out, possibly after they've got possession, and then he was going with circles with his fingers to the two forwards. In other words, stay deep, but let's do some curls, open up a lane if you can. If not, let's keep the puck wide, pinch it off along the boards.
Gryza on the bench. The Czechs have thrown on an extra attacker. Both teams have a man in the box. 59 seconds on the game as Nikolitin talks through the face-off. Horak, Hostak, Kastak is out there trying to get it free, and that bounces all the way back to the blue. The Czechs pepper it in. They've got to get 2 goals, not just one, so they can't stand around. Big shot upstairs, Vikuko! Oh boy, was that a good shot!
I'm going to have to question whether Zuyev saw it, though. It was a blast, Paul, but Zuyev didn't react very quickly. Doesn't matter, the Czechs have got one back. two Czechs working hard in the corner. The puck comes back to Vikukul. He lets it ride. It does appear as though there was a little bit of confusion in front of Zuyev.
Was there a tip in front? Vikukul gets credited with the goal. Still 45 seconds on the game.
Good stuff by the Czechs, keeping two men going after the puck. Bryza's back in there momentarily because the face-off is at center again. The Czechs need possession, they need to throw it deep, and Bryza needs to get right back off the ice.
Again, we see an all-important face-off right at the end of a game. 45 seconds on the clock. Keep your eye on Bryza. As the Czechs move down, he's going to come out. Horva taps it in. There goes Bryza. The extra attacker is in there. Zuyev flips it over the boards. And that's got to be a penalty for delay of game. It's an automatic penalty, yes. And this could provide all sorts of headaches for the Russians. Tikhonov is looking at his goaltender. Zuyev trying to do the right thing by bouncing it off the plexi. He flipped it too high. Delay of game. Face-off should be in that zone.
Hard to tell you were a goalie, Paul. You jumped on that one before the puck was even over the boards. You could just see that it was going to go over the boards. You were on that.
34 seconds on the game, and what has this man done? Let's look at this again from the reverse angle.
Horva throws the puck in. Zuyev doesn't actually take a look. He just clears it right straight to Abramov, his partner. The goaltender alertly on the bench with the glove save. That doesn't count as a shot on goal, by the way.
Again, we see a timeout, and Tikhonov again gives instructions to his defensemen and his forwards.
The face-off will be deep in Russian territory. It'll be two men in the box for the Russians, one for the Czechs, and if Bryza's out of the goal, it's still going to give the Czech Republic a two-man advantage on the ice. One way or the other, it'll be a 5-on-3. Tikhonov talking it over with what he wants. We've seen this happen before, penalties being taken in the last minute of a game. The Canadians with a costly one against the Americans the other day. The Americans coming back to level the score.
And again, Bryza goes to the bench and stays there. Zuyev still discussing that with the officials. Boy, he can smile, but will he be smiling if the Czechs level the score? One, two, three Russian skaters, and Horak tries to get it back as that's flipped up, and we'll have another face-off.
Face-off is critical. The Czechs needs possession. As soon as that puck is dropped, you can bet the Russian center is just going to be taken out, and another Czech's going to get in there and try and grab the puck. Another delay out there as the officials pick something up off the ice, and that'll kill off a little time. Tikhonov jumps on the moment right away to give more instructions out there. He knows exactly what he wants his center and defenseman to do. Ivan Linka will have plans of his own. Horak trying to get it back. That's tagged along the boards rather. And the Czechs pump it right into the corner. Time ticking down. Sorokin tries to get it out. He flips it high, and again we have another whistle, but still 20 seconds left on the game. A little less room to operate now. Each team has returned one player back onto the ice. So now it's just the penalty to Zuyev that is being served by the Russians. With Bryza out of the net, it's 6 attackers going against 5. Anxious moments for the Russians and the Czechs. That's 5 including Zuyev. You can see 4 Russian skaters, 6 Czechs on the ice. A 2-man advantage with the goaltender out. Horak. Big shot comes in. That took a deflection. Bounces over into the corner. Vikukul is in there. Sorokin gets a tap to the far side. 10 seconds on the clock. Kudashov tries to get it out, but it's pinned against the boards. 5 seconds now. That goes into the corner. Sorokin falls.
Can the Czechs get it back and get the shot away? Here comes a one-timer, and that bobbles away and up high. Oh, so close. Sorokin goes back to Zuyev. What a finish. But the Russians go back and congratulate Zuyev. It could have all gone wrong for the goaltender.
Zuyev has that look on his face like, yeah, no problem, guys. I knew this was going to happen all the time. The wasted seconds were right along the bench where 4 or 5 players came together, and the Czechs just couldn't get the puck out. They got the shot away just before the buzzer, but Zuyev made the save.
So the final score, Russia 4, the Czech Republic 3. And what a great finish to a great hockey game. 3 periods of end-to-end ice hockey, non-stop action. Well, we're going to turn to Bopes now for his man of the match for the Czech Republic. The losers.
I like the way that Kemel Kastak played, number 12, the playmaker who's come back off an injury earlier in the games from a leg check that he took early on. Really got stuck in. I thought he had a good game.
And how about for the Russians?
For the Russians, I'm going to go with Karpov. Why not? He's the guy that's been making the headlines with some of his comments or some of the alleged arguments that he's had with the coaching staff. I'm going to take Karpov nonetheless. Number 14, Valery Karpov, played a good game. Paul, let me have a couple of picks from you.
Nikolation, number 24 for the Russians. I thought he played well at center. He took a lot of draws and he won most of them. And for the Czechs, well, again, I don't know, I'll go for